Welcome everybody. We are going to be talking about women's health and hormone and using essential oils, natural solutions to help balance hormone, you know, all those sorts of things. So here's Jade to tell us all about that.
Thank you. This is one of the most important classes. So we put 5 really, really important topics into a series of classes that we teach every new member of our doTERRA family. Because we feel like if you master these 5 classes, you'll be able to take care of about 80% of your concerns. Okay, so that's really important for us, and then you can take off and go whichever direction you want. But if you can have that foundation, then you'll be good. You'll be good for life. So this class is found on jadebalden.com/hormones. You can do a search on there too if you don't want to type all that in. So just go to jadebalden.com and just do a search hormones, and it should come up. And it's the wellness class number 4. You can also just click on this class handout here, and it'll take you to a PDF where you can download it and print it out and sort of write all over it and put notes and share it with your friends and whatever else. Because a lot of people like just the hard copy and then check as we go and teach the classes. They like to follow along. So that's available for everyone. Okay. All right. So we're going to switch to a presentation that just kind of zooms into the class. So that's a little bit easier for me to teach this class. But before we get into it more, anybody here have any questions or comments? No? In our society right now, this is a huge problem. People are managing symptoms. They're getting, medication for the thyroid, medication for all of these other things, or they're doing a lot of things that interventions. But we need to understand, hey, well, how did it come to pass? How did it come in the first place? So this is very important to share with your friends, men and women too. Okay, so this is a 2-page class. You can see that, the handouts. So we will cover just hormone balancing. We'll talk about supporting the hormone balancing, and we need to manage our hormones, our emotions and mood, and then we'll want to talk about energy and vibration. Okay, a little bit about that. Alrighty, so on to the first page and the first topics. Okay, so we want you to know that your body knows how to heal, and you can take control over your health. And we need to establish that first, because I try to help people, and if they don't have that as their base paradigm, then none of what I say will really help. If they think, no, I'm broken, that's the disease I have, and that's how it is, and that's part of your identity. If it's so, then I'm not able to help in that way. But if you believe that your body knows how to heal, if all the cells can communicate properly when it's clean and it's fed, and your body knows where to go, what to do, that's really important. Okay, so know that you can take control over your health. And the friends of mine that have done this literally changed their life. So I invite you to do the same too. So first of all, we want to talk about some cells and how it just looks funny. Okay, some cells. So our cells, it doesn't look like this, but it's a cartoon. So if you can imagine, on the outside of your cells, there's lots of receptor sites. That means it's ready to receive information, and the information that it's going to receive is very specific. So we have a receptor site for a certain hormone or a certain chemical, and then it clicks perfectly, and then it sends out signals. Okay, so like this, and it goes, yay, got it, and sends out signals. You see? So our body is constantly scanning and it's looking for something to fit into their receptors and then sends out signals. So lots of toxins block the receptors, and lots of unnatural hormones take over our receptors as well. So, and I'll give you an example. If our cells communicate properly, our body constantly produces the right amount of endorphins or hormones of some sort, norepinephrine, dopamine, all the healing chemicals. It produces it correctly, and it balances and adapts all the time. So have you experienced times when you are watching a movie and you're laughing so hard, and then a couple of minutes later you're crying? And then you're laughing again and you're crying. So that happened to me when I watched The Lion King. So, it's like, oh no, his dad died. And then it's like, oh, that was so funny. So you can see, if I was crying and sad, and if I took my blood at that time, certain levels of chemicals would show that she's sad, right? But if I waited a couple of minutes and take that blood again, all these levels are high, right? So we go to the doctors when we're low, when we're sad, when we're depressed. And they say, hey, you're depressed. And you say, yeah, that's why I came, right? And they say, well, you're deficient in this much of all of these chemicals. Let me give you some pills. And so what happens in reality is that your cells don't need to produce all those happy chemicals. It doesn't need to be scanning so much anymore to balance, because you're introducing some synthetics already. So I read years ago in the New York Times, 1 year of, say, antidepressants atrophies those receptors by 60%. So those receptors say, hey, I'm not needed anymore. So it shrivels up and it atrophies. Okay, so if people take themselves off these medications right away, they're worse off than they started, you see. But you need the body to be alert and alive so it can adjust and adapt constantly, every second, every minute. The levels go, whoa, 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 okay, and then you say, hey, a little bit more, a little bit less, a little bit more, and it just keeps doing that balancing game, you see? So this is what we want the body to do. So we want to clean cells so it can continue to make these intended signals when it's necessary, okay? So when we have unintended signals, the right chemicals are floating around in your body, but sometimes it doesn't get in. But then the synthetic chemicals, it gets in, right? So it starts sending unintended signals. So one of the biggest culprit is the xenoestrogens. So the xenoestrogens are the synthetic estrogens found in food and plastics and stuff that are in our society that's rampant. In fact, there's so much xenoestrogens on certain farms that the runoff causes the marine animals to be 80 to 90% female. Crocodiles, female frogs. And it's just very unbalanced, very scary. I went to a fair in Australia when I was living in the country, and one gentleman was talking about how proud he was and how these cows have these huge udders. They're like twice the size they used to be. Yay! And I thought, no, because we're drinking that milk and we're eating that cheese and we're eating that meat too, and that's going to be inside of us, you see. So that is very scary. But you can see the xenoestrogens, it causes these unintended stuff to happen. So we have girls that have premature menstruation. They menstruate when they're 8, 9 sometimes. But that's not the time that they should menstruate. So it's just causing a lot of unintended things to happen in the body. They're sending the messages when it's not meant to be sending it. We have men with man boobs, okay? People, have so much of this stuff in their body that can cause a lot of disease. So have you guys heard of xenoestrogens before? Anybody not heard of xenoestrogens?
I've heard of it, but I wasn't sure exactly what it caused.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So, if this is an introduction to it, I invite you to go and do more research and more reading about it. Okay. So the xenoestrogens are found in canned foods. So it's the lining in your cans. It's the white lining, whatever the food is inside. The white lining is a petroleum-based lining. It's a plastic lining that xenoestrogens will seep into the food that you eat. So that's how you ingest the xenoestrogens. Farmed fish, they're fed grains and corn. Tap water will contain extra xenoestrogens because we've got a lot of they believe that the pill that came out of people's body, it goes into the water system. Okay, so there's lots of xenoestrogen, and by the way, the pill is pure xenoestrogen. Plastics, if you microwave food in plastics, that's introducing food with more xenoestrogens. If you store food in plastics, okay, that's another reason why we want BPA free, or even better, glass. Okay, factory farmed animals or soy in food. Soy, if it's non-GMO, it's fine, but there's very few that's non-GMO. Most of them are filled with xenoestrogens. They absorb xenoestrogens so much more than other plants out there. So very, very bad. So if you look at the labels of your food, if it has any soy evidence in there, most of them do. You know that's got potential xenoestrogen. Okay, pollution, perfumes, because they're petroleum based. Cologne, same thing, petroleum based. So, just use essential oils, make your own perfumes, guys. Okay, pesticides, medications, and even some of the medications, the outside of your pills, the plastics of the pills are xenoestrogenic. Yeah, and of course beauty products. So these are the top places, but there's plenty more. So I think there's a question here. Oh no, she was commenting. Okay, all right. So those are the places. What are you guys thinking? What do you think?
And I think in our modern society, we have a lot of pollutants that we didn't have before because so much more manufacturing. And as you can see, we've got a list of all these places that we have that introduce these chemicals into our bodies. And you can expect that that's going to have some sort of effect on us. And that's what we're seeing. And some people are like, well, why is everybody sick? Why is there so much more autism? Why is there so much more problems with hormone balance?
Yeah. Jade.
Hi, Ben and Jade. Ben, you're right. When I'd learned what xenoestrogen was, that was my background, my society that I grew, everything, my environment, and and I remember hearing the specialist say, these hormones are what feed your breast cancer. So, digging deep, and I love that you've touched on this, Jade, because it's these very things. Like, sadly, I think there's probably maybe only one area there that it wasn't part of my lifestyle. And so I remember learning about this and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm doomed. And so is my family. Where do I start? So I just started little things, started replacing plastic with glass, and removed all the perfumes, and we use oils as our perfumes now. And I get compliments all the time. I even had it last night from a guy saying, you smell so good. And I said, it's my oils. He goes, really? I'm so nervous. He goes, can I have some? So I did a dab on his hand. It was fun. I'm like, I'm loving this. So it's true. Sadly, and I know plenty of friends and family, they're in the same position, but not the same as me now, but these are the things that I can help them understand.
Yeah, awesome. I love that you said that, because I was waiting for somebody to say that, actually, because when you first learn about it, you think, oh, I do that. I microwave and I use plastics, and I eat farmed animals just like everybody else. And everything, all of that was me, and you think, you know, what did I do to my body? Well, we were so trusting, right? We were so trusting of society, and we didn't think to delve into it and do our research. Okay, and now that it's out there, people are kind of saying, "Hey, listen." So what do? You can get pretty overwhelmed. So, like Jean said, start with the little things at a time. So we, slowly replace the cans with glass. Replace your plastic containers with glass, or if you have to get to the BPA-free, very high quality plastics. Try to find natural, grown wild caught fish or something like that, that's not fed with corn and grains that are, big and plump from these hormones, right? And then, of course, the medication. If we can take care of ourselves naturally, we won't need all of that. Pesticides, we have, like bug repellent sprays in doTERRA. They're not going to kill those bugs, but it just repels them and, keep them away. So that's, lots of little things that we can do.
And don't beat yourself up.
Don't beat yourself up.
There's no way that you can get rid of all of these.
Yes.
But there's a lot that you can do to greatly reduce a lot of these.
Yeah. And your body will tell you. Your body will tell you how well you're doing. Yep.
And thank you for saying that, Ben, because it's true. I mean, I was embarrassed for a while. I mean, we lived in Hawaii and, money was always scarce. So we were eating a lot of we ate Spam, and I fell in love with Spam. And coming from Australia, Spam was like poor man's meat. And in Hawaii, they serve it everywhere at McDonald's. And I thought, what? I was embarrassed that a lot of the things I was doing, it was just, doing more harm to us. But it's educating everyone, making the awareness, like making the connection, saying, okay, we'll just start with simple things. We'll start there. And it's just beautiful, and you learn to eat fresh and things that are living and things that are swimming and, so.
That's great.
Yeah. And that's the beginning of it, learning to reduce it, like beauty products. We have the skincare collection. In fact, we're going to have a class on skincare and stuff. Those are great ways to reduce it. Now we're going to talk about ways of fixing the damage and, detoxing, repairing, and balancing again.
So a question about edamame. Edamame is soybean. In the past, regular soybean really wasn't much of a food. It was a thing that they put down into the soil to nourish the soil. It has a lot of anti-nutrients, actually. So I'm not quite sure about that. So do some research on that. Unless it is GMO free edamame, I wouldn't go there.
Or organic.
Yeah, it has to be organic. Organic. So it's interesting. Sometimes like soy milk has been advertised to be, the rich people's milk. If people that are healthy, that are drinking it and using it, doing tofu, then you think, oh, well, then I should do it too. That was where I was so mistaken. Because, you think I'm sick, so I better eat healthy, and healthy is soy this and soy that, and then you get more and more sick and you wonder why. Okay?
Yeah, you can look up the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15.
Yeah.
There are certain plants that actually soak up a lot of the chemicals and toxins, and soy is one of those that kind of concentrates a lot of toxins that you're getting.
That. Yeah, look up an article, The Dark Side of Soy. I don't know if it's still online, but it was,
Peaches.
Peaches. Hello.
Hello, guys. Hi, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hello to everybody in the class tonight. I just would like to say that this is a very good topic, and I'm like so proud of myself because I recently got like a micron filter for my kitchen. And I said, I'm doing away with all the plastic water bottles. I was like, what am I doing? You know, I kept like getting them and collecting them, going back, you know, doing trying to do the recycle things. But now that I'm learning about the plastics, I mean, I've heard it before, but I knew plastics was, not plastic, but that bottled water was one way for me to get my, children, I have a son and daughter, to start drinking more water. And I like what you're saying, because I started years ago just cutting things off little by little. We were consuming too much sodas and Hawaiian punch. That used to be my thing. Oh my gosh. And Oreo cookies, like certain things that wasn't good, or a lot of processed stuff. And then I started cutting back, scaling back. I just started saying, like, one day I'm not going to buy chips anymore. I'm going to stop buying juice, or I'll buy maybe juice once a month, and that's it. And I started buying bottled water, because I used to always say to my kids, drink water, and they wouldn't. So, and I had the pure filter and all that stuff too. So when I bought bottled water, I noticed they started going for the water more. So it kept me going and stuff. They're not around as much because they're older, but I got a filter. I says, I'm away with the plastic bottles. I'm not doing that anymore. I'll just put water in the glass, or one, like you said, one of those approved plastic bottles, or whatever, BPA free and all this other stuff. So little by little over the years, I just been scaling back, and I don't even miss any of that stuff. I don't miss. You just, after a while, you lose it and you don't miss it, and it's improving. It has improved our family diet so much. Like my kids, they drink water now. They look for water. My son was drinking a gallon of water, whereas they were swallowing a gallon of juice, I think, a day. So it's much, much better. Yeah. So I'm just telling you, little steps. I like somebody was mentioning it earlier, they cut back a little bit at a time, and before you know it, you done rearranged your whole entire diet. So I'm really on the board with that. It's very good. I just look back and say, wow, how far I've come from like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I just started cutting stuff off. It doesn't mean I don't indulge every once in a while, like at a birthday party or something, but I don't buy cakes and all those breakfast foods and those danishes, all that stuff. I just don't buy. I'm looking for like healthy food anyways. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's too much.
I used to be very Nazi. When I learned about these things, I was so Nazi. I went all the way to the extreme. No, none of this, throw everything out. And then my friend would call me from the supermarket, and she's like, Jade, it's so stressful. There's nothing we can eat anymore. What do I do? And then, I just realized I was tense too, and she's stressed, and I'm like, we're all stressed. So I decided I'm just going to be 80-90% good enough.
Yeah.
Relaxed and use the oils when I cheat. So that worked out better, and everyone was happy. But yeah, you got to teach yourself new recipes. Even me with Vietnamese food, it's a lot of good foods in there, but we had to kind of reinvent the wheel in some areas. So it's just, you just have to do what you need to do. Well, awesome. Thank you guys for that input. So anyone else?
Can I just say, before I learnt all of this, I just couldn't believe that once I started digging just a little bit, how many products that we use readily available that has all these toxic chemicals in it. Like everywhere you go, anything that you buy at your supermarket has toxic stuff in it. It's just crazy. So, but like instead of feeling overwhelmed with all the things that you have to do, like Jean was saying, you start one thing at a time, and I feel like it's not impossible, because people are opening their eyes now, and they realize that there are horrible stuff that they sell, but now they have places where they sell things that are natural. So it's just an easy switch, like for me, you know. Obviously with perfumes you can just change with essential oils, make your own blend, because then you can just play around with it, and it's quite fun because, you know, you can find the smells that you like. And also for like beauty products, doTERRA has so many things that you can use for your body and your face. And then there are other makeup brands that have low toxins and stuff, so it's quite easy to switch. So I feel like it's not so overwhelming anymore. And I think anything that you do change is a win. So even if you change one thing, it's a win. You know, so don't look at all the things that you haven't changed yet, and just look at all the things that you have changed, and you should be proud of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you for that, Jamie. Good perspective. So for the people that are watching and listening and watching afterwards, that's really good to remember, because you think, oh, these people, that's hard. I mean, yeah, nice to talk about it, but hey, are we really going to be able to do it? And yes, over time, right, just little by little, fantastic. And if you believe that it's going to be very expensive to switch, think again. I had a friend, she just calculated just her just cleaners, natural cleaners. She said she saved over $1,000 on cleaning products when she switched to all natural stuff, because some of it is a lot cheaper than even in the store. When you make your own, or when you just buy some of the doTERRA ones, they're concentrated. I mean, you can use a whole bottle of cleaning concentrate, and that's for the whole year. So, yeah, we're not going to talk about the cleaning concentrate today, but just an example. If you feel like you have some blocks and you think, oh, I love to change, but it's too hard, you know, there's lots of ways we can help you overcome that. So xenoestrogens, if you have too much of it, okay, these are the symptoms, guys. It's become a disease, but it's not the real issue. The real issue is the extra, you know, xenoestrogens inside our body. So it causes breast cancer for men and women, prostate cancer, endometriosis. I'll pause here for a second. Some people are glorifying this a little bit too much, and they're owning their problems too much. It's like saying, you know, I am a breast cancer survivor. Great. It's the same as saying I am the flu and cold survivor. You know, I've had cold and flu. Now it's over. It's just a symptom, a group of symptoms of you know, a disease name. I had a friend say, hey, endometriosis day kind of thing. And I'm all, just help your body clean and balance. You know, focus on those positive things instead of being a victim together. So, you know, then they hold on to that disease. That's all. Thyroid disease and cancer. Bone loss. Okay. Premature menstruation, or very early uncomfortable menopause, overproduction of breast tissues in men and women, and infertility in men and women. So, you know, how many friends of ours check one or more of these boxes? You know, for me, I'm like, everyone of those boxes, I know friends that have suffered with it. And then this can, you know, I don't know about you, but it just causes this fire inside of me that says, I am going out there and sharing and telling stuff, you know, telling people stuff, so that they don't have to go through that, right? What about you guys? Lots of friends and family that, you know, it's just heartbreaking to watch that they have this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Had a lot of friends with hormone issues that's approaching me now, and you know, like you said, I feel so pumped to help them. You know, I just want to like do it for them kind of thing. But you know, we have to empower people, and at the same time, it's like you feel good that you're doing something good in the world. You know, and I don't know why, but I'm also attracting people whose family members have cancer as well.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, I guess, the things that I've been through, and suddenly I'm attracting those people as well. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to help them.
So our mom had cancer just 4 years ago, I think. It was thyroid cancer, and just knowing our society, it's like so common. We have our friends who want to have babies and they can't have babies, and it's so heartbreaking. So it was a little video, a lady with a doTERRA lady with essential oils. I mean, I feel the same way she does. So it's like you are ready to just prance on somebody. So like her husband's playing soccer, and he fell over and hit the kids or whatever, bumped the ball or whatever it is, and he fell over and he got hurt. So she's all talking to her friend, but she turns and she sees that her husband has fallen down, and she whips out her essential oil and she runs for it, and she jumps on top of him, and she just, and I feel like that's like me in my mind when people say, I have this problem. I'm like, no. Like, Jamie, I want to do it for you, but no, I have to empower you.
I did that yesterday, actually. There's this girl who was talking about her health issues, and she's like, oh yeah, look, and there's this burn on my arm. And then I was just frantically looking for my bag and just dumped some lavender on her arm.
Without asking her. She's like,
yeah, I didn't even ask her. I just put it on. She's like,
sorry.
oh, you're like this. I don't know why, but she called me a Peter Rabbit.
Oh, Jean. And we have to unmute.
Oh, I'm having a good laugh because I guess we can also relate. So I was on the phone with my sister-in-law this morning, and she's just been diagnosed with cancer, and they're going to take her small intestine, and she'd asked me if I would go up, and I chose not to because flying is just not good for me. So I decided, but I'm empowered with knowledge and tools that she's not aware of. And it was beautiful to hear. So my husband and his family grew up drinking soda. My father-in-law, all the grandchildren know, Pop has a special black drink. It's Coke. And he drinks it like religiously. It's ridiculous. Like Christmas time, they buy him cases. So it's beautiful. And talking with her, and this has only happened within a week. And this has sort of been a bit of a distraction for me, but it's been a beautiful journey to hear my father-in-law listen to things that I'm referring them to, as well as my sister-in-law, and for her to say, because I said to her, don't feel like that is your only option, that you have to have that intestine removed, because there is a small tumor. I said there are other ways of addressing certain types of tumors. So directed her to some things. She did her homework. For her to come back and say, okay, so I've got funds coming in this week. I'm going to join doTERRA and get these oils. And it was beautiful to see she's making the connections. And then it was beautiful to hear my father-in-law, and he's a stubborn, moldy man. But to hear him say, okay, now I get it. Like, because they've sat in my home, I'll sit there and massage them. Jade, thank you to your Roma Touch class and that. And now she's able to help her dad, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, who's there attending to her needs right now. So I just love the ripple effect it's having, and it's empowering. And my sister-in-law said, well, Fee, I'm actually contemplating moving back to Sydney. She says, I think you and I could do some beautiful things in helping people because of this journey. She said, I thought I was listening. She said, when I saw you, and she said, the hair was gone. And she said, Luffy, you look like you were dying. She said, she cried. Like, I asked my husband to leave now because she was not coping well with it. I said, but Missy, and she said, now I get it. She said, now I'm finally listening. And she said, and she's been a clean eater for like years, but she's had a lot of emotional pain. And it's beautiful to see that she's making the connections, and that, she wants to get on the bandwagon and be part of this community. So it's empowering. We are guardians of our community.
Yeah.
I love that.
Love that. I love how you put it. That's great. So we have so much we can offer people. So this here, doTERRA, has something called phytoestrogen. Phyto just means plant, and estrogen is estrogen. So plant estrogen, and it's a lifetime complex. And what it is, so thank you, Ben, it's just a bottle of herbs. And basically, this helps with balancing and supporting normal hormone levels. So like I said at the beginning, our body's constantly balancing. So if you have way too much, it'll reduce it, helps it go down. And then if you don't have enough, it'll bring it up. But because your body has certain phases of the month and time, it will play along with it. It won't synthetically push it down or synthetically bring it all up. It'll just go along with you. That's amazing how our body can plays this balancing game. Balance at this particular time in your life might be like this, and it might be like that in the next week. So, and it does that with you. So it helps support women during their menstrual cycles. Okay, helps diminish the normal symptoms of menopause, such as hot flashes and night sweats, and helps support bones and heart and breast tissues. Okay, and it's formulated as a powerful antioxidant support. Okay, so you can read the instructions on here. So I had my daughters take this before they had their period. So a good year before, because I didn't want the onset to happen too quickly, because the xenoestrogens in our society might just trigger the signals too fast. And I'm really, really proud that their bodies held off, but they continued to, of course, grow and develop. But they didn't have their period until a bit later, so that was really, really good for me. But my friends, we have headaches from menopause or hormone imbalance. We have hot flashes. We do have oils to help with that, but this here, it just really helps it, go away. The Claricalm, for those of you who don't know, we'll talk about that in a minute, but we had almost a group of friends, we were talking about Claricalm, and they're saying, oh, I love Claricalm, and the other girl, she pulls out from her bag Claricalm, and another girl, and they're like, what, do you want you to carry it with you too? And they're like, yeah, for my hot flashes. And then one lady's like, I went through 2 already this year or so, whatever. And another lady said, oh, you know what? I am almost finished with my second one too. And I thought, this is so funny, because they're like, and I said, guys, we should just make a chart of how many we're all using of the Claricalm. But what they're saying is they need this at certain times of the month. And some of them are using it for the hot flashes. And then I introduced them to I said, this is incomplete. You're just using one. You should use all 3. And then when they did start it, they only needed it just in the morning, and the whole day they were all leveled and fine. And because my friend used to use it every few hours, she said it wears off and I have to use it again. It wears off and then I get hot and cold again. So she's, with the whole system that we're going to introduce you to, and the Women's Health Kit, it does do a better job at balancing your hormones. So this is really important. These are the products that we're helping you and your body to balance. Okay, so Claricalm, it's like liquid form of phytoestrogen. You can see the ingredients: clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile. These are oils that are very good at antispasmodic, with cramps and things. Geranium, so many floral oils here, okay? And in floral oils, just remember, it helps calm you and it helps balance hormones, okay? So apply it on your abdomen for the menstrual cycles, and you can do it on the inside of your arms too, okay? So on the website, if you look at clary sage, you can see why we apply it on the inside of the arms. And then during moments of heat, that's a compliant way of saying when you have hot flashes, just apply it to help cool the skin. Another way to cool the skin, if you do have those symptomatic concerns, is just to put some peppermint and water in your little spritzer bottle and then spray your body with that, and that helps too. Or diffuse it. You can take the roller bottle lid off, the ball off, and then kind of put a little bit in your diffuser or in your necklace diffuser. Okay, so anyone with experience or stories to share about Clary Calm? Amy?
I like to use it a week before I get my periods. When I get snappy and cranky, that's when I know I need it. And so I roll it around my ankles, and then I'm a happy camper. So, I'm very pleasant to be around for that. And it's great for those aches in your lower back and at the front. So that's where I use mine.
Okay, awesome, lovely. Good to know, everyone. Actually, I had an argument the other day because I got cranky, and in the middle of the argument, I went to the oils and rolled the Clary Calm and smelled to myself. So nicer.
I carry one in my purse. We always have one on our shelf, and Jaden has one in her room. And oddly, I took it out at the bank today, and this lady was like, "What is that? It smells so good." And I said, "Well, she asked to see it." And they were like, "We must need this. It smells delicious. It helps you with your hormones." And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, I need to come to your class and get this. So it was uncanny. But Jaden has also taken it out. Someone in her class had a headache, and she said, "It might be a hormone headache. I don't have my keychain. I left it at home, but you could try this." And after, the guy was like, "What was that stuff?" And then she said, "Well, guys have hormones too. It can be a hormone headache." And he was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, it helped, didn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll always ask," because he said, "I know you have oil. Do you have something for a headache?" And she said, "Oh, I left my keychain at home, but hey, try this." And then after, he was just like, "What was that?" So they were laughing about it, but she said, "Hey, guys have hormones too." But yeah, it's like helped so many friends that actually, a friend that's in Florida, I was sharing with her, and she said, "My gynecologist told me to come and ask for the Clary Calm and told me I need the supplements that go along with it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's not good to use just one. You're going to need them all." And so, and I was like, "Who's your gynecologist?" And, but it's just amazing that they recognize that this is a balancing thing. And at first I didn't know. I got the phytoestrogen for me and the Clary Calm for Jaden. And then all of a sudden I was like, "I'm doing this all wrong. We need all three." And things changed drastically for us. For my daughter with her her periods and all that stuff, it got better for her. Mine got better. And so, yeah, but it's funny because people will ask and I'm like, "Oh, we're getting low. We need one for our shelf, or we need one for, but we always have it with us because like that back pain, like Jamie said, or, she might have it for the front pain or a headache, at that time, like you said, it can be emotions, it can be pain, it can be headache, it can be those kinds of things that go along with your hormones. And it's important to pay attention to those things.
And it goes in and it does its job.
Yeah, and recognize when it's about to happen, because you can prevent it before you're starting to be that way. So yeah, it's interesting how amazing it is.
Yeah, thank you, Stacey. Jean?
Yeah, I just want to share. So, two of the big side effects after coming out of chemo radiation was severe migraines and hot flushes, and they're really high. So they wanted to up the dose and put me on antidepressants. And it just, I mentioned earlier, did not sit well for me, and I don't want to become addicted to it like my girlfriends. We're meeting all together this Friday, and I remember the last discussion we had was about the migraines they were all having. So I pull out the peppermint, we're playing with the peppermint, and Whisper I fell in love with because it became my perfume, not knowing the constituents and the properties behind it. But it got me through the migraines. Clary Calm is the promotion here in Australia for the month. So we're meeting this Friday. So guess what all the ladies are going to be walking away smelling like is Clary Calm. And it's great because they're bringing up the conversation. What do I need help? The hot flushes are just too severe, the migraines. And, it's So this is going to be my best friend for the discussion on Friday. So I'm really excited. Really excited.
Great.
Yeah.
Well done. One of my friends, she had endometriosis. She was going through in vitro for the 4th time, and she said she's got no money left to do it another time, but she had one child, and she was having a hard time falling pregnant again. And she had severe pains for 2 weeks out of every month because of the endo. Anyways, because she didn't have a lot of money, all she bought was the Claricum. But when she came back to me, just a month later, she said, "Wow, Jade, wow." She said, "I used to be in bed most of the 2 weeks before, and during, and after the period, but," she said, "I wasn't hurting." She said, "It's the first time in years and years that I was like able to do that." And then that in vitro didn't work. And so she was devastated. But a little while later, she fell pregnant naturally. So it was amazing to me how, the more oil she used and how she cleansed her body, it just kind of knew what to do now. And that's what we try to help people understand, that all the toxins in our bodies, detox, cleanse it out, and then start balancing your hormones with these lovely products. And then, hey, watch your body, right? See what it does. Our girlfriend in Australia, she didn't have her periods for 3 years. She wanted to have more children, but she's like, you need to get a period first. And she didn't realize anything would help. She thought she was done. And when she started using just, lemon oil and a few other of the basic oils, she came back and she said, "Got my periods for the first time." And I thought, yay! So just something like that. I'm like, yeah, I want to help everyone now. So, that's a wonderful story. So Claricum, guys, one of your best friends, if it's not already.
Another story. I have another story. Can I just tell quickly? So there was this mum who came up to me and said to me that her 18-year-old daughter had her periods weekly ever since she had her periods. And she's like, "Oh, is there anything she can do?" So I recommended the phytoestrogen and the Claricum. And after that month, she had her periods once a month. So it's amazing. Like, it's just after the first month.
Yeah, wow. Just like reset. That's great.
All natural.
Jade, can I share also? So I've always had my cycle maybe every 6 months if I was lucky. Most times it was every 18 months. So I was very fortunate that I had 2 children. And so when they forcing my body to go into the menopause was supposed to stop the periods. So I chose to stop the drugs and started applying Claricum and my oils that I had. My period came and it came super heavy, which I wasn't surprised. I've had them 3 months consistently, which is really unusual. And my little boy says, "Mom, does that mean you can have another baby?" And they got all excited. I said, I said, "No, Mum's too old for that now." But it's amazing. Just something as simple as this can make a huge impact. And I've had my period since I think I was 15 when I first got it. And it was always every 18 months, which my girlfriend, she used to say, "You're so lucky." But, it did a lot of damage to my body, obviously. But it's beautiful to see that it's going back to like a normal cycle.
And even after all this time, it says, "Hey, I remember how it's supposed to function." Yeah. Dr. Susan Lawton, she preaches that over and over. She says, even if you were born and there's something, you're not balanced, your cells remember to how it should be functioning, and it does. It tries to go back to as perfect as possible. So that's excellent. Sometimes we don't recognize the power of the the balancing act of our body. So in this chart that you can see, I'm sorry to the people that are just listening, your body has this fluctuation. It doesn't have a straight line where people think if it's hormone balancing, it's like this is how much. this hormone is and this is how much this hormone is. It's just zzz, but it's not. It needs to fluctuate. It has to, because when your estrogen level's high, your progesterone level's low, and then it needs to swap. And it's direct inverse, and it keeps on doing that dance, and it needs to do that. So when the estrogen level's high, your body is in a fat storing mode. It does a lot of things like, you know, it's helps balance certain functions. Okay, but then when your progesterone levels are high, your body is in a fat burning mode. Okay, and it helps nourish your bones. If you're always you know, high in estrogen, guess what? Your bones are not being nourished. And so are you surprised if people have bone issues? Are you surprised if you just keep on putting on that weight? Okay, so that's why we want the body to keep on doing that fluctuation, up and down, up and down. But the thing is, when you get older and even in your 30s, okay, it's not that old, but now people are experiencing the menopause symptoms because we have so much xenoestrogens in our body. And so what we have is just this big fluctuation. So when people have that, they experience all of the symptoms really, really severely, hot flashes and all sorts of discomforts, headaches, and, you know, the thyroid is going bad, the adrenals is just, you know, not working properly. So adrenals. So that's why they think, okay, I've never experienced something this bad, this uncomfortable. And they go to the doctors, and the doctors, they prescribe hormone replacement therapy sometimes, and that is pure xenoestrogen. Okay, and you know, it may be okay for now with the managing of the symptoms, but over time, you know, the likelihood of them having more, you know, chances of cancer and other things is just so high because they're introducing a lot of these synthetics. So what we want to do is to help the body naturally. So it continues to do that nice fluctuation, but then it starts to taper off and taper off for good. And I experienced this firsthand with my mom. So years ago when we introduced her to the oils, she was saying, hey, lately I've had my periods every 6 months or so, or 3 months, and then it's 6 months, and then it's, you know, very sporadic, and I'm getting all of these. She's like, turn on the fan and turn on the AC, and we're like freezing here. I'm like, okay, we've got to help her out. And when I introduced it to her, she was like, oh, I got my periods again, and again this month, last month, and this month, and it was so regular. And she's like, what's happening? I thought it was like done. And, you know, and I said, well, I think it's going to just go up and down, and it'll just be lighter and lighter and then taper off. And that's exactly what she experienced. And so it wasn't very uncomfortable. She never had to take medications or anything. So brilliant. Okay, so sometimes when you have issues with weight even, it's very important that, you know, we balance the estrogen and progesterone levels. Okay, questions, comments? Oh, good. So if we have our, like I said earlier, our estrogen level just constantly high all the time, you're not allowing the progesterone level to be high too. And that way, over time, your body is going to take the nutrients, the calcium from your bones and feed your bones. Okay, so that's why a lot of...
It's constantly in baby
baby production mode.
Baby
yeah, for men and women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Building fat around the hips, the thighs, and the breast. And that's very unhealthy, of course, and that's why we have such a rise of, you know, concerns for osteoporosis. But you know, there's other countries in the world that don't drink that much milk, and you know, the older people, because they don't have these toxins and xenoestrogens rampant in their diet and in their environment. You know, the older people, they don't experience this. They don't experience this bone issue. I just remember way back, and I keep telling this story because my mum commented one time, oh, great-grandmother, she was hard working all her life until she was about 83 or so, 85. And I'm like, what happened at that age? She's like, oh, she was, you know, in the rice fields and she fell. And I said, what happened? And she picked herself up and walked home. And I'm like, okay. But when she fell, everyone thought, oh, yeah, she's getting old. You know, but if somebody at that age fell in Australia or the US, what do you think immediately? fracture, hip replacement, right? That's what you're thinking. You're like, oh no, let's go to the doctors right away. And this grandma, she lived for another 10 years. Okay, and she kept working and she was healthy. And then she said, way back when she was younger, she said, if I die, I die in my sleep. And she did. She just died in her sleep. She didn't get sick. So, I mean, everyone talks about her all the time because she's awesome. But, you know, that story demonstrates to me that there are people all over the world that don't experience this issue because it's kind of unnatural. You know, it is. So, to have such brittle bones, it's just such a prevalent of it, that's all. Okay. So doTERRA has introduced the bone nutrient. So we have calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D along with it. So it just helps your body absorb the calcium. And what's good about it is it's a very, very affordable and it's bioavailable. That means it's made from food. It's not ground up rock somewhere, and your body can absorb it. So that $17.50 for the US people, it's 2 months worth. So if you're already taking the phytoestrogen, do take the bone nutrient too. It, you know, with the magnesium, it helps you relax more too. But when your progesterone levels are high and you're taking the bone nutrient, you're going to feed your bones, and that's going to be a huge, huge benefit for you. Okay, and that together is your women's kit. Those 3 products. Like Stacey said, hey, we're just doing bits and pieces. We should do the whole thing. Yep, and that's exactly right. Okay. Whisper is next. Who likes Whisper? Yay! Got a couple of hands here. At first I smelt it and I thought, oh, yeah, it's okay. And my husband thought, old ladies. So and then when we applied it on, it was different for everybody, but it was different for me, and he liked that one.
Yeah, it smells much different on your skin than in the bottle.
So Whisper is great for, again, hormone balancing. So do use this on a regular basis. And if you want a more masculine version for the guys, I've done this for a teenage boy, and we just added frankincense to it. Okay, so
frankincense
Whisper, mix it up. So it's rubbing it on your wrist, your back, the back of your neck, and on your pulse points. And just use it as a perfume, so on your clothing or just on the pendant diffuser. So it's awesome that way. Anyone? With questions, stories, comments?
Come on, girl. Keep going. Keep going. Come on.
I've had guys just like the Whisper on them too.
You like the Whispers too? Okay. All right. So we talked about the phytoestrogen, the claricum, and the Whisper. All right. The bone nutrient. All right. So we want to introduce a few things to help you absorb and help you balance. So guess what? If you're not sleeping well, whether you eat clean or not, whether you use oils or supplements or not, your body's not going to be able to reset. All right, so sleeping well is important. Like I said earlier, the cleanse and restore is super important. So I'm not going to talk about that today. It's in another class. But you know, just remember, if you have these concerns, you need to really cleanse yourself, cleanse your body of the xenoestrogens inside, plus other toxins. But let's talk about sleep a little bit.
Don't mess with it. Don't irritate it. Just put stuff on it. Don't irritate it.
Okay, so so getting good sleep, guys. So balance, lavender, okay, vetiver, juniper berry, serenity soft gel. Okay, wait, did you guys get that? I went too fast. Anyways, any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward. We do have a class on sleep. Okay, so that's pretty easy. All right, so use these products to help you with sleep. All right, so there's a whole post on that, so you can read it and watch it and watch the video on that. All right, so of course, feed your body. Okay, so if your body has the right tools, it will be able to produce the right hormones and function optimally. Okay, so we've got the cleanse and restore. And even if you're not cleansing, doing a detoxing or cleansing, there are these citrus oils, guys. Just switch it up and use the different oils to help your body cleanse daily. Did you know that the citrus oils help dissolve petrochemicals in your body? So if you're using, if you've used plastics a lot in your life, then you know, you probably have ingested a lot of petrochemicals inside your body. And so we want those petrochemicals to be dissolved and to leave. So here is the 30-day cleanse, but you can look at that and watch the video in your own time. But I just wanted to mention that because it's part of balancing your hormones. Okay, so if you can get rid of the excess xenoestrogens in your body, that will really help you. Okie dokie. So the next part, for the next few minutes, it shouldn't take too long, but we have a little section on managing moods and emotion. So, you know, like Jamie said, be nice to everyone when I have the right oils on. So, you know, just the hormones causes sometimes the emotional instability. So when you're snappy, you're uncomfortable, when you're adjusting, it's good to know some of the tools that you have. So you've got the mood management oils, okay? So the citrus bliss, the balance, the serenity, the elevation, those are great oils. And then you also have the emotional aromatherapy. So you know that 1,000 different genes allow your body to recognize 10,000 different smells. So this is just the oil, the smell receptors, the odor receptors inside your nose. So it can pick up a lot of the different scents. So as soon as it does that, it gets straight into your brain. So that's why smelling is so powerful. We want people to understand that, you know, they don't have to pop a pill for everything. Okay, just because we've got imbalance or something, we don't need to pop a pill. Just smelling it will instantly help you. Now, our moods are an interplay, a complex interplay of emotional and physical components. So if we can help manage the mood, our body will feel better too. So a long time ago, we had with Dr. Hill present this. It's just to help us understand which oils to use when we have certain emotions. So he said, if you've got no peace and you're fatigued, you might be in this quadrant 1, where you might be angry and impatient. And if it's prolonged, then you might experience stomach aches and headaches. So your physical body might experience that. Okay, and so that's the quadrant 1. Quadrant 2, when you're fatigued and got no passion, then your body might be unmotivated, discouraged, and you might experience brain fog or chest tightness. Okay, so if you understand where you are here, then you might be able to use the right products for it. So you might have no passion and feeling so stressed, then you're hopeless and withdrawn. And, you know, I'd say really, really depressed too at this time. So you might experience some chest tightness and lower back pain. Okay, so that's quadrant 3. And quadrant 4 here is just feeling no peace and feeling stressed. And that will probably cause some tense and worry. And then you do have some digestive upset and neck pain. So can you see that it just kind of have 4 quadrants there, and sometimes you can just identify which ones you're in. And then we do have these oils, so that's what I'm talking about, the mood matrix, to help you kind of identify the oils that you need if you're experiencing, you know, if you're in the quadrant 1, you might want to use Serenity. If you're in quadrant 2, you might want to use Citrus Bliss. Okay, so we have Elevation for 3, and then Balance, the grounding blend, for the reassuring and feeling no, what was the other one?
Peace.
No peace, yeah. It's just hidden behind there. The graphics changed. So you guys are familiar with that, right? And if you're not, so there's a graphic and you can study that. Anyone want to say anything before we move on?
I do. Jade, what really surprises me, so I didn't have all the oils that I needed to manage the mood, and like after, you know, my treatments and that, I've always been a very calm, you know, very placid person, mostly quiet spoken. After all my treatments, I became Medusa. Seriously, I mean, my husband, I remember watching my sister and my nieces and nephew and my brother-in-law saying, it's like she's lost it, like she's just become a very different person. And so that was a sort of pre-warning for me. I remember going through counseling and saying, I don't like who I've become, what I'm becoming, and I can't seem to balance it all. So they'll, you know, I pop the drug, you know. And it's surprising. What I love about Dolce products is I love that even though I may not have all the oils to manage what I had to, you know, what I was going through, I applied what I did have, and I'm getting more sleep than, I mean, I'm sleeping 7 hours. I've never been able to do that for the last couple of years. My moods, my son even said, Mum, because he would say things like, cancer's taken my, you know, the beautiful mum that I had. He says, oh, don't be angry, Mum. Like, I still love you. And you know, because he sees I'm becoming this dragon. You know, we'll joke about it because that's our way of coping. But I love the fact that it's managing it in a way where I'm able to cope. It's, you know, and I'm just very grateful that I've been able to just surrender all the drugs and just do this and seeing the beautiful effect it's having on me. And that's priceless, because it does, like, it really plays with your moods, your emotions, your hot flushes, and you just become this, you know, it's horrible. It really is. But it's beautiful to know. I've got some really good Aussie friends, and they're just popping drugs after drugs, dealing with, you know, depression and moods, and now they, you know, and it's drugs and alcohol, and they're in such dangerous places and beautiful souls. And so they're the first people I started writing my invitations to invite to.
Yeah, you got your work cut out. Wow.
Yeah, I do. That's why I've got you guys.
Class.
Yeah, they do have a whole emotions handout to teach a class just for the emotions. So maybe you can do that too. So, yeah, we should do that on a call one day. So, that's really good and motivating and encouraging for everybody. So the other thing other tool we have is the emotional aromatherapy. And you know what? All the other oils are great for emotions too. If you have that emotions book, it'll really help. But this is a great place to start, okay? So we've got that emotional aromatherapy wheel. We've got motivate, cheer, passion, forgive, and console. So those are some of the options that you have. So just smell it and just kind of keep using it until you feel better and feel you calm. Come back and feeling that Medusa running away, okay? All right, so it's just, that's done, okay. So use a diffuser, a personal diffuser if you want to keep the oil with you all the time. So let's talk about energy and vibrations a little bit here. The reason why we want to do this is just so people understand why you feel the way you feel, okay? You feel the way you feel because of toxins and the chemicals inside your body, but also, you know, it stems from the thoughts and the beliefs. So if you can identify what you're feeling right now, it will help you go down to the roots of these feelings, and you can resolve it for good. Okay, we can keep managing it, it's great, but these feelings, we will act on feelings, we'll always act on feelings. You may know all these wonderful things about, you know, not using stuff with xenoestrogens, but eating healthy, but when you're feeling depressed and feeling angry, right, you're not going to, you know, go for that salad, you're going to go for that chocolate cake that's right there, right? So you will act on feelings. So what you want to do is to manage those feelings. So that's why I tell people, if you're stressed and anxious, you know, your physical body will tell you. So if you have a physical problem, sometimes you can go back to, hey, what's the emotion? And then you help with both of those and resolve both of those at the root cause, which is, you know, your beliefs. So anyways, I just wanted to introduce that with you. If you have somebody with an iToby scanner, that'll help you pick up the oils that you might need to help, because everything there will always be an emotional route. Even if it comes up a physical, it's always an emotional route to start with. So that's how we balance our hormones and our body, so we can heal from a lot of the issues that people are struggling with. So I hope that helped you. Anyone with any questions or comments or things that we haven't discussed that we think you want to talk about?
Hey Jade, someone asked me, they said that they had their levels checked and that they have a problem with their testosterone being high.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them that we have this kit, but I didn't know if that would necessarily address it.
Okay, so if it's high, is it high according to the average, the chart? Because sometimes people say,
High or was it low? It was
Yeah.
low.
yeah,
Your sister. It was low because they actually wanted to put that's why they put the tablet in her, right?
is
They
it
put a
causing
testosterone
health
tablet in
problems?
her.
Is it causing health problems? Because your body knows how to balance, right? So sometimes people come to me and say, "Oh, it's high," and I'm like, "Fine, I'm happy and healthy." Just looking at a chart, just look at the average, and then you're not smack bang on where. So
Yeah, it was causing some kind of things going on with her, and so they surgically implanted a disc that had testosterone. And then she came to me and she said, "Well, I don't want to do that again. So can you tell me if the women's kit has anything to do with that?" And I said, I know estrogen, I know progesterone. I don't know about that. I don't know if the Whisper does that. I would have to ask Jade or find out some other thing.
She might just need more sandalwood oil, okay, just to balance it up a little bit.
I would think try it. I mean, this is a hormone balancing.
That's what I thought.
Testosterone is a hormone.
Yeah.
Give it a try. You have nothing to lose.
Just use it and see, because Dr. Hill said that even people with diabetes, men or women, right, they have diabetes because it's a hormone imbalance. The body's not producing the metabolic hormones that their body needs. So he would have them do the women's health kit too.
Okay.
He apologized for calling it women's health kit because men use it too. Ben uses it too.
Just a marketing thing.
Yeah. So the inside of your arm, the pericardium, the circulation and sex meridian, like Jamie said, the uterus, the ankles. So just rub it on.
Okay.
Rub both oils on, and see. Give yourself a couple of months. Don't rush into it too quickly. Like some of our stories are awesome, like Jamie with her friend, 1 month and her period's all regular. But we want to just make sure that people have a good go at it. We don't want to promise any miracles.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, and I'll tell her sandalwood as well. But I kind of figured if she just tried it, she would see some improvement. But I just wanted to get your feedback on it. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I know sandalwood just came to mind because it just really helps the brains kind of make more communication, and when it communicates, it scans better and it balances. Alrighty, so we're at the hour already. Any last words?
Jean has.
Yep, Jean. Yep.
Ben, two things. Ben, did you say bone nutrients? Men can take that as well?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Men can take any of these products.
Yep.
They can.
Majority of women have a greater need for hormone balancing.
Yeah, when Ben did the detoxing and cleanse, we did the detoxing and cleanse. He used the women's supplements as well. So
yeah, sometimes you might be holding on to fat because of your hormones are unbalanced.
Wanted to
so you're trying to lose some fat and stuff.
Did you hear that?
Getting your hormones balanced can sometimes help out with that.
Yeah. I mean, just when you're talking about it, the bone nutrients, so a good friend, their partners, their brothers, 3 of them all under 50, but they've all had hip replacements. They're all having bone problems. And I thought about that for them. I mean, she asked me, I thought, I'm really not sure, but you've answered that.
Guys have estrogens too.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
With the bone nutrient, the really good thing about the doTERRA's bone nutrient is it's got that vitamin D and E, and that really helps to absorb the bone nutrients into the bones.
Yeah.
And you've got the magnesium as well. Those are very key. And the type of calcium needs to be bioavailable. There's so many calciums on the market where, you know, it's just ground up rock or something like that, and it can actually cause problems. Or people are just drinking milk, and that's actually not necessarily bioavailable forms of calcium anyway. Yeah, and you've got other xenoestrogens in there as well that may cause problems. So this is a really fantastic source of, you know, someone that has those bone problems, maybe it runs in the family or whatever. This is the best thing that doTERRA would have for that sort of thing.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll take those with my supplements sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last question. So with regards to, I mean, just the facial hair growth, I found out facial hair is just, it's more evident now than ever before. So, but I am following these patterns and taking all of them. So I guess a girlfriend had asked, she's got a lot of facial hair that she's developing.
Yeah.
And
Chest hair too.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So I can follow that. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So like I said, it could be really, really low and then really, really high.
Yeah.
Hello.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Ben, that you had tried it too. I was telling Jason that he needed to.
Yeah, I was listening on the side, so.
Well, he's always extremely hot at times. And I said, maybe you need hormone balancing. I was like, take this and put this on you. And I'm telling you, they said it's for men too. So when Ben said, I've tried, I was like, did you hear that? Ben said
I told Ben he was menopausal today.
Yeah, menopausal.
Yeah, it's just marketed to women, but you know, it's just a collection of different essential oils. Most of them flowers, so you're gonna smell really pretty and stuff.
You're leading the way, Ben, for all of the men. You're like, I did it, and I'm okay.
Man, right.
Like,
you're nice.
Is it hot, Jade? I'm like, huh? And then later on, oh, I'm really hot now.
And Ben, it's really awesome to hear you say that you don't mind smelling pretty, because that's what the gentleman said to me last night. You know, he's beautiful and strong and buff. He goes to the gym daily. He said, I don't mind smelling beautiful. And he said, and he put on balance. He said, I smell really good. And I said, we need to have a discussion about these oils later. What do you reckon? He goes, yeah.
What do you reckon?
You know what? Sometimes if men don't like the floral smell, there's always things that they can do. Like for this, Jade mentioned adding frankincense to the blend.
Tone it down. Yeah.
Add cedar wood, any sort of oils that have the kind of musky smell, arbor vitae or something like that. And yeah, so those are, and you can make. I've got a lot of colognes.
He has a lot of colognes.
Cologne
oil
mix
colognes.
I'll use every day, and not only are they smelling good, they do body good. There's also things like lavender is kind of got that floral smell, so some guys are kind of hesitant to use that. But the spikenard has a lot of the same properties.
Petitgrain.
Sorry, petitgrain. Petitgrain. Petitgrain has a lot of the same properties that lavender does. It doesn't smell like a flower.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it's a man's lavender. Oh yeah.
That's okay. I was going to say I think that's where I heard it was from you, Ben. The man's he loved lavender, he didn't mind it, and he said, "Do you have a man's version of that?" And I just couldn't remember the name. So thank you.
Petitgrain.
Petitgrain.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right,
guys.
we're going to go ahead and tie this up. We'll say goodbye to all of our television viewers. Stop the recording.
Yep.